In this episode of Raisin TV, we are going to drop the truth hammer on one of the major underlying themes in libertarian arguments, the idea that we should abandon things that don't work rather than fixing them like the boss. Once you learn to recognize this logical error, you will be able to call bullshit on at least 17% of the talking points libertarians hurl at your skull.
This issue pops up all the time when you are debating libertarians, and when I say debating, I really mean presenting facts that they will choose to completely ignore. They will find a government program that has some problems, and rather than actually proposing a solution to the problems, they will stupidly argue that we should abandon the government program completely and allow the private sector to come up with a solution instead. They are willfully ignoring the historical fact that these government programs were created because the private sector was not dealing with it properly in the first place. Fact.
A solid analogy for this logic would be arguing that, because heart surgery is not successful 100% of the time, we should stop doing heart surgeries altogether and go back to praying away heart disease. Heart surgery was developed because praying away heart disease was found to be ineffective, just as government programs were developed because private sector solutions were ineffective. Real talk.
Libertarians will make this argument most frequently when they are talking about regulations or government agencies. They will fire off a bullet list of 5 or 10 regulations that do not work, and rather than saying, okay, let's reword those shitty regulations so they work, they will skip right to removing all regulations and letting corporations regulate themselves. That's some bullshit.
Another example of this logical failure occurs when they argue against the FDA, EPA, and USDA. They will find a handful of unsafe drugs that the FDA has approved in the past and claim that they are proof that we do not need the FDA at all, even though the overwhelming majority of FDA-approved drugs are perfectly safe and really do help people. They'd rather have uneducated peeps decide whether drugs work than certified as fudge scientists. They will also use examples of corporations lobbying the EPA and USDA for more lenient regulation as proof that we do not need the EPA or USDA, when in reality it proves that we need a stronger EPA that is free from corporate influence.
The obvious solution to all of these goddamn problems is to find a way to keep corporate money from influencing the shit out of agencies that are supposed to police them. Getting rid of those agencies or regulations just makes it easier for corporations to adopt dangerous practices because they no longer have to bribe politicians and regulators to be able to do so.
We will respond to the factually inaccurate cult belief that corporations will always do the right thing in order to stay in business in a future video. Until then, feel free to subscribe. If you are a libertarian, feel free to post a comment about an unrelated subject in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.